promising big ahead of municipal corporation elections.
All right, we have to move on to some breaking news coming in following the intervention of Union Labour Minister Mansukh Mandaviya over the safety of delivery partners. Blinkit has now removed the 10-minute delivery claim from all its brand platforms. On this issue, the Union Minister had held discussions with officials of companies like Blinkit, Zepto, Swiggy and Zomato, advising them to do away with strict delivery time limits in the interest of the delivery workers' safety. All the companies have now assured the government that they would remove the delivery time commitment from their brand advertisements and all other social media platforms. That is the big breaking news that we are getting in at the moment. Blinkit compelled to drop the 10-minute delivery time clause. Centre has now intervened on the 10-minute delivery timeline. Central Union Minister Mansukh Mandaviya has spoken to officials from Blinkit, from Zepto and Swiggy and asked these apps essentially not to advertise the 10-minute delivery policy in the interest of the welfare of the delivery partners. The centre has now categorically said, setting the record straight, there will be no more 10-minute delivery for delivery apps. This is the big breaking news that we are getting in at the moment. This comes after gig workers had earlier staged multiple strikes over this clause, saying that these firms, quick last-minute delivery apps like Blinkit, like Swiggy, like Zepto, were not essentially keeping in mind the welfare of the delivery partners. The centre has now been forced to intervene, and Union Minister Mansukh Mandaviya, the Labour Minister and the Ministry in a sense holding key talks, key discussions with these platforms. Let's go across to our Executive Editor Nirajan, who joins us live from the newsroom with more details.
Well, from the details that we've been able to pick up, the Minister, Union Labour Minister Mansukh Mandaviya is, reported to have spoken to different officials of these delivery apps, including officials of Blinkit, Zepto, Swiggy, Zomato. Now, there have been protests, and these are not organized protests across the country, but there were concerns. There is also a political angle to it. Let's be honest about it. There are some political parties who've been trying to push this issue. Yes, gig workers are under pressure. Yes, gig workers have concerns. Yes, gig workers have been protesting, but it's not a uniform protest because different cities have responded, some have not. But on social media, there have been attempts to politically keep this issue alive. Now, on the back of the concerns of gig workers, and this is an issue that impacts people across the country, Iona, because most of us use these apps. And there are concerns around these apps. Some apps used to advertise themselves as 10-minute delivery, etc. So it started with that. And there are videos, in fact, that were also shot and uploaded on social media about the kind of hazards that are faced by some of these gig workers. A video, for example, in the last few days on how, delivery, was allowed on trains, etc. and how they had to adhere to timelines, and it was a dangerous proposition. Now, on the back of these videos, on the back of these protests, on the back of these campaigns, most of which has also been politically driven, the centre seems to have intervened. Now, I can confirm to you that the Union Labour Minister spoke to not just Blinkit. In fact, we put out a few minutes back that he spoke to Blinkit on our grids. We'll just fix that. He's spoken to different delivery apps that include Blinkit, Zepto, Swiggy, Zomato. And the advice given by the centre to these apps is to do away with the strict delivery time limits in the interest of delivery worker safety. And let's be honest about it. It was a great catch initially when most of these apps, I can remember that, when Blinkit, of course, they launched, their USP was 10-minute delivery. That's what they claimed. Some apps like Zepto took it to the next level, actually delivered within 10 minutes. But it is not humanly possible to do that because we've seen the kind of, threats that gig workers face on the road, safety concerns, and it is not realistic, it is not possible to meet the delivery deadlines. And many, in fact, founders and companies and CEOs who run these apps also clarified that it was more a marketing tool and not really, hard and fast on the gig workers to force them to deliver within the 10-minute deadline. So on that front, 10-minute delivery was used as a tag. Many could not do it within 10 minutes. But let's look at how the market is placed right now. There are reports that Amazon wants to enter, the 10-minute delivery segment, the fast, quick delivery segment, but has been struggling with it. And there is an also commercial aspect to it. There are different, theories on social media. Political parties picking up cudgels for gig workers. Yes, they do. Some of them do need help. There are some areas where their concerns can be addressed. Labor codes apply to them as well. So on that front, government has done what it could. I guess there is a lot more to do. But they've had to intervene, I think, primarily on the back of the campaigns that have taken place. For example, there is an Aam Aadmi Party MP who's gone all out to try and, do this stunt with mostly Blinkit. If you look at it, some quick commerce apps have been targeted. It is a fact. It is primarily targeted at some of them, primarily targeted at the market leaders, primarily targeted at the apps that have a large share of the market in the quick delivery commerce segment. Blinkit and Zomato, I think, if I'm not wrong, combined have about 50% or more market share in a space which is mostly crowded now. Because today, if you want to buy medicines, there are apps that will deliver medicines to you within half an hour. Today, anything that you want, even the big apps like Myntra, etc., they have a 30-minute delivery or a 40-minute delivery deadline. So this is a marketing tool, and that is how this marketing tool has come to be used by most of these apps over the last years. 10-minute delivery was a catchphrase. 10-minute delivery was a statement. But are deliveries taking place within 10 minutes? I'm not so sure. Do delivery agents and gig workers face threats? Yes, they do. It is a debate. But I believe, given all the campaign that has happened and the social media push, primarily the opposition has been pushing, this angle that gig workers, and especially Blinkit, surprisingly, they've been going after Blinkit. And Blinkit, of course, is owned by the same founders, those who operate Zomato. So there is another theory that maybe there is a commerce angle to it, there's a commercial angle to it. Maybe there is a commercial war that is playing out politically, and at the end of it, these apps, which are Indian apps, Indian founders, Indian CEOs, maybe perhaps bearing the brunt, we don't know. But the fact is the government has intervened, asking for some of these apps to remove that 10-minute delivery deadline, or at least not promise 10 minutes, so that gig workers at least aren't really harmed. But I don't know how much it will impact, because realistically, many of us use 10-minute apps. I'm sure you do as well. It doesn't really deliver in 10 minutes. That's the whole point. It's just a statement. It was a marketing tool. It was a marketing gimmick. It was a slogan. But I'm not so sure just removing the 10-minute delivery will change anything for anyone. Let's see where the story goes. It's a great story to follow.
Right. All right, Niranjan, thank you very much for giving us that very, very detailed perspective. Certainly, even if it's temporary, it is a momentary relief for gig workers. Meanwhile, viewers